The Trinari Empire stretched across 1,000 stars. Its people were born of light and silence. They spoke without words, thought without sound, and lived without heartbeat. For the Trinari, communication was done through pure telepathy, minds brushing minds like ripples on calm water. It was perfect, efficient, and peaceful. But to Arixa, it was empty. She was a young linguist from the moon world of Vorin, known for her curiosity and her strange obsession with an ancient, forgotten concept, speech. While others studied politics, engineering, or the sciences of mind, Arixa spent her days digging through ancient data crystals, searching for clues about vocal communication, something her kind had lost millions of years ago. Her peers laughed at her. Her teachers warned her to stop wasting time. Even her parents stopped sending thoughts of encouragement. But Arixa didn't stop. Something inside her whispered that there was meaning in the old ways. Words had power. She had read about how primitive species used them. Sounds shaped into emotion, into connection. Yet in all her studies, she had never heard a sound. The Trinari auditory organs had long withered away, replaced by telepathic channels that required no voice. For Arixa, the idea of hearing was as strange as the idea of breathing fire. Still, she dreamed of it, of sound, of something that could stir the soul. One day, while studying in the deep halls of the Luminara research station, her data console blinked with a strange alert. It wasn't a telepathic signal. It wasn't visual data either. It was an audio file, one that her console could barely process. She frowned, adjusting her translator crystal. The message came from a deep sector, far beyond Trinari space, a dead world known as Eden 9. Most avoided it. Rumors said the planet was cursed. Others said it was where the stars themselves had gone to die, yet the signal kept repeating. It carried a vibration, soft, rhythmic, patterned. Her translator struggled, flickering with strange symbols until a single sequence appeared in front of her eyes. A word, human. Arixa froze. That word existed in her archives, a name from myth. Humanity. A species that once walked the stars before the Trinari rose. Some records claimed they were reckless destroyers. Others described them as dreamers, builders, lovers, creatures of passion who spoke with their mouths and hearts. She replayed the signal. Though she couldn't hear it, she felt something new through the console's vibration. A low, rhythmic pulse that seemed to move through her fingers and into her chest. For the first time in her life, Arixa felt something inside her body move. It was slow at first, then steady, a quiet, pulsing thump. She clutched her chest in shock. "What is this?" she whispered in thought. No one answered. She ran a scan on herself, thinking it might be an illness. But the readings were stable. Her energy levels were normal, and yet the pulse continued, faint but strong. It frightened her. But more than fear, it fascinated her. She recorded her findings and brought them to her mentor, Research Director Kalin, an older Trinari who valued logic above all. When she showed him the file, his mental tone sharpened with disapproval. "You brought back forbidden data, Arixa. Audio frequencies are primitive relics. They corrupt clarity of thought. But, Director, there is nothing to learn from dead species. Forget this signal. Delete it. It made me feel something," she insisted. "Something. Physical." Kalen's eyes narrowed. "Then it is dangerous. Do not pursue this." The conversation ended abruptly. He dismissed her with a cold mental wave, but Arixa couldn't obey. That night she returned to her lab in secret. She reactivated the signal. The pulse came stronger this time, each vibration syncing with the strange rhythm in her chest. She sat in the dark, staring at the flickering console. The translator displayed one last piece of information, a set of coordinates leading to Eden 9, the origin of the signal. She hesitated only for a moment. Then she made her decision. Arixa sent a message to the Exploration Corps, requesting a private vessel for data retrieval. Her application was almost instantly rejected until she used her research license to override the system. It was reckless, illegal even, but she didn't care. Something in that signal was calling her. The journey took 4 standard cycles. Alone in her small ship, Arixa spent her time studying the signal again and again. Each repetition brought stronger sensations: warmth, emotion, and that strange rhythm that now followed her everywhere. At night, when she rested, she dreamt of a world filled with sound. She dreamt of laughter, of crying, of something called a song. And every time she awoke, her hand pressed to her chest, feeling that quiet heartbeat that shouldn't exist. When she reached the edge of Eden 9, her ship sensors showed nothing but ruins, a broken world wrapped in storms. The surface shimmered with metallic remains, collapsed structures, and the faint glow of automated systems still clinging to life after thousands of years. "This is where the signal came from," she murmured. Though no one could hear her, she descended into the atmosphere, her ship rattling as plasma storms tore across the sky. When she landed, the silence was deafening. Even telepathic communication felt muted here, as if the planet itself had lost its voice. She stepped outside, her silver suit glinting under a dark, crimson sky. The wind moved the dust in slow waves. No life, no thoughts, only the emptiness of a world long dead. Her scanner picked up the signal source, deep within an old structure buried beneath the sand. Arixa made her way through broken corridors and strange human symbols carved into the walls. Then she found it, a small, black device, still humming with weak power. It looked simple, ancient yet alive in a strange way. She brushed off the dust and activated her translator. The device flickered, then light bloomed across the walls. And for the first time in her species' history, sound filled the air, a voice, deep, calm, human. "This is Captain Elias Ward of the UES Horizon. To whoever finds this, know that we tried." The sound hit Arixa like a wave. She fell to her knees. The pulse in her chest thundered. Her breath came in uneven bursts she didn't understand. Her entire body trembled. The voice continued, low and steady, carrying a warmth she couldn't describe. "We came here to build, to live, to give something back to the stars. If anyone hears this, then we made a mark." Tears, something no Trinari ever experienced, rolled down her cheeks. She didn't know the meaning of the words, but the tone, the rhythm, the feeling behind them. It reached deep inside her. It was not a message of despair. It was a message of life. When the recording ended, Arixa sat in silence, unable to move. The world around her seemed to breathe again. The wind carried echoes she couldn't understand. She looked at the darkened recorder and whispered, not through telepathy but through her mouth, forcing the old muscles to move. "Hutman." It came out rough, broken, but real, and for the first time in her existence, Arixa truly heard something, her own trembling voice, echoing softly in the ruins of Eden 9. She smiled through her tears. The heartbeat in her chest quickened. It was not pain. It was wonder. Arixa stayed on Eden 9, her mind spinning with the sound of the human voice. She had always known her species lacked something, an emptiness in their perfection. But hearing Captain Elias Ward speak, even through a recording, stirred a feeling that she could not ignore. Something human pulsed through her chest, a heartbeat unlike anything a Trinari had ever felt. She could not leave. The ruins of the old colony stretched for miles. Broken metal towers, rusted domes, and the skeletal remains of human machines lay scattered across the landscape. Each structure whispered a story of ambition, of hope, of failure. Her scanners picked up faint energy traces inside one of the central buildings, the heart of the human settlement. Arixa entered carefully, her silver suit brushing against dust-covered walls. The corridors were narrow, choked with the remnants of machinery. Symbols she could not read were etched into panels and doors, but her translator started decoding fragments. It was then that she noticed a chamber unlike the others. A dome-shaped room lined with screens and panels that still flickered weakly. At the center rested a small console untouched by time, connected to a storage device, the source of the human signal. She knelt before it, hands hovering over the controls. Her mind raced. Could she access more? Could there be more messages left behind? With a deep breath, something she didn't need but felt compelled to do, she activated the device. A soft light filled the chamber. The panels displayed human characters she could barely comprehend. And then the voice returned. "To whoever finds this, my name is Elias Ward. I am the last captain of the UES Horizon. We came to Eden 9 to build, to learn, and to leave a mark on the stars. If you hear me, know this, and you are not alone." Arixa's pulse quickened. The thumping in her chest grew stronger. Her hands shook as she activated the second log. More words poured out. Descriptions of human life, of triumphs and failures, of dreams bigger than a single planet. We believed in connection. Not domination, not conquest. We wanted to create, to inspire, to leave behind something meaningful. The room seemed to hum with energy, though the human machines had long since stopped working. The voice was alive, not through the technology, but through the rhythm it created, a heartbeat that she could feel. It flowed through her, rising and falling, tugging at something deep within. Arixa realized something incredible. Humans were different. They did not rely on mind alone. They expressed through action, through sound, through emotion, and somehow through this recording that emotion had traveled across centuries to touch her. Tears came to her eyes. Trinari had no concept of crying. It was unnecessary in a species where minds communicated perfectly, but here in this room she needed to cry, not from sadness but from wonder. She spent the next cycle exploring the chamber, uncovering logs, videos, and diagrams of human life. There were instructions for building machines, notes on plants, records of experiments in art and music. Humans had created for the sake of creating. They had struggled and failed, but they had done so with joy. Arixa realized her chest still thumped, a heartbeat born not from her biology, but from the human voice, from the rhythm of life itself. She put a hand on the console, feeling the vibrations. If humans could make this even after extinction, what else had they left behind? Hours passed. The sun dipped below Eden 9's dusty horizon, casting long shadows through the broken windows. And then a new log began to play, different from the others. The voice of Captain Ward was softer now, almost intimate. If you are hearing this, you are capable of change. My people may have left the stars, but our purpose remains, to grow, to explore, to connect. You, whoever you are, can continue where we left off. You can learn what we learned. You can feel what we felt, and you can live. Arixa felt her chest tighten. The pulse of her heartbeat grew so strong she feared it might burst through her body. It was not just sound. It was life. And in that moment she understood something profound. Humanity had given her a gift the Trinari had never known. Emotion made physical. Emotion made real. She wanted to share it, but she also knew it would be dangerous. The Trinari Council would never approve. They forbade the study of sound. They would call it a corruption, a contagion to the perfect mind. Yet Arixa could not ignore the gift. She needed to share it. She needed others to feel what she felt. The pulse, the heartbeat, the spark of something larger than thought alone. Days passed as she explored more ruins. She found evidence of humans trying to communicate with other species, leaving messages in secret places, hoping someone, somewhere, would hear. And now she was that someone. Arixa decided she had to broadcast the message across Trinari space. Using old human transmitters and her ship systems, she began repairing the communication array. It was delicate work. One wrong move could destroy everything. But each time she worked, she felt the heartbeat strengthen, guiding her hands, giving her courage. At last the system was ready. She activated it, sending Elias Ward's voice across the Empire. Every channel, every relay, every connection carried the sound. The first sound the Trinari had ever experienced. The effect was immediate. Her own heartbeat raced. She felt vibrations in the air, in her mind, in the empty silence that had always surrounded her species. She closed her eyes, letting the rhythm wash over her, and then she sensed it. A subtle resonance. Something small at first, but growing. Others were hearing it too. Not just listening, but feeling. Across Trinari space, minds that had never known sound now pulsed with the rhythm of a heartbeat. She opened her eyes to see the sky outside the ruins shimmer with energy. The planet itself seemed to respond. Dust danced in strange patterns, lights flickered in abandoned structures, and even her ship vibrated as if alive. Her pulse, her heartbeat, now matched the rhythm of something far greater. Something universal, but not all were pleased. Back in the Trinari capital, the Council sensed a disruption. Minds across the Empire were being affected, influenced by something primitive and uncontrolled. She has gone too far, one counselor thought. She spreads chaos, another added. They convened immediately, debating whether to recall Arixa, shut down her transmission, or destroy Eden 9 entirely. The Trinari prided themselves on order, on logic, on perfection. This new phenomenon and a heartbeat, a sound, was unpredictable, uncontrollable. Meanwhile, on Eden 9, Erixa felt no fear. She felt only the rhythm, the pulse, and a connection she had never known. She knew humans had left more than ruins. They had left hope. And hope, she realized, was stronger than any law or rule. She broadcast the final log again. Your world is empty, but your hearts are full. Learn from what we left. Live beyond the silence. Connect, feel, and remember, even if we are gone, we are part of you. The sound filled every mind in the Trinari Empire, and for the first time, millions of Trinari felt something beyond thought, a heartbeat, a spark, a life they had never imagined. Erixa smiled through her tears. She could feel it, not just in herself, but in the entire empire. The first wave of change had begun, and yet she knew the council would come. Ships would arrive. Commands would be sent to stop her. Eden 9 would be declared forbidden, but she no longer feared them. She had heard the sound of life. She had felt the heartbeat of humanity, and she knew that once a mind had felt it, it could not be silenced. Somewhere across the stars she whispered a single word, letting it float on the winds of Eden 9, human, and the world answered back with a pulse.